I was just on this page.
Guys.
Pues bienvenidos y bienvenidas otra vez. Welcome to PNNKXU, Poor People's Revolutionary Radio at 96.1 on the dial in East Oakland, Huchin, and streaming live online at www.poormagazine.org/radio. This is your co-host Muteado Silencio con voces de migrantes en resistencia and formerly houseless. Also with us, mi carnada, a fellow houseless poet, Pablo Scala Latini.
I try to stay clean, but you steal my soap and all my clean clothes. I try to stay housed, but you throw me on the street, out my tent, and out my house. I try to stay fed, but you steal my food crumbs instead. You don't want to see us, no matter where we run. The sweeps are a slow genocide. The bulldozers, the tow trucks, that's your gun. Yeah, this is PNN, not CNN, people. That's Poor People's Revolutionary Radio, live and direct right here in this small part of unpimped, unplayed, unsold Mama Earth that us houseless people call homefulness, a homeless people's solution to homelessness. And right today, as we speak, one of the politricksters in this town is proposing another layer of violent criminalization on our houseless bodies and our brothers and sisters in these cold, freezing streets right now. Even though they're towing and sweeping and killing people every day. So yeah, they don't want to see us. And these tow trucks and these sprooms are their guns.
On this edition of Poor People's Radio, we will be honoring another stolen son stolen by the angels of the state, police terror, Mario Woods, whose angel anniversary is today. Live from the vigil by his family, we will speak with comrade warrior, poet, and revolutionary Dr. Loco. Then we will hear the powerful flauta of a beautiful human who has guided Poor Magazine with his prayer, wisdom, and love for many years. A spiritual tío to our homefulness, Poor Magazine Familia, and an amazing musician who has been sick recently but is here with us, resisting through música. Then finally, free speech is never free in America. We'll be speaking with a family and plantation prison resistor, Minister King William, on the recent powerful court case he has launched. All of that and much more.
So we here tonight, and we're blessed to, first of all, even hold this space for ancestors always. We know that our Black and brown and poor bodies are oftentimes eradicated and erased from these occupied streets every day by these agents of the state, by these politricksters, by these systems that are never meant to support indigenous and Black and brown bodies. So we are blessed to be in this space holding love and lifting up the spirit of Mario Woods, stolen by state terror,
Nikanka,
right?
yes.
In occupied Yalamu, aka so-called Frisco. And we just want to lift up that this is his anniversary today. 10 years since the agents of the state took him from his mama, took him from his community. So we are blessed to have warrior comrade Dogtown Dro on the phone, on the line with us, live and direct from the vigil. Welcome back to Poor People's Radio, family.
Righteous, appreciate the welcome, and I hate the circumstances, and I hate the present, like where I'm at with it. But we here because the push keeps going, and we got to keep these names alive and in circulation. And I'd rather be doing this to propagate the legacy in the name of Mario Woods than to be dismissive, because that's absolutely what they want. They want us to forget about our brothers and sisters. But
Oh,
as long as we keep their name alive, and as long as we keep circulating the call for liberation and justice, we're gonna be on their heels, and they're gonna have to sweat and lose some sleep like we have.
oh, Mateo. Oh, Mateo. Can you tell relatives, listeners, and viewers a little bit about Brother Mario? Just we need to never forget. But who is he? I'm not even going to talk about him past tense because our ancestors are with us. Who is Brother Mario Woods?
Mario was a kind soul. He grew up in the Hunters Point projects. He has family in Houston, Texas. Um, he has been in and out of the system, and anybody that's had that experience can attest that you don't really come out of that with any sort of rehabilitation. And I can attest to that. It's not even just anecdotal. It, like, for the most part, you go in, you come out a bit touched, and you don't come out with the same, like, outlook and the same mental functionality. We have like, as formerly incarcerated, we have ticks. So there's a mental health element that I don't say that to as a demerit or denigration, because I share these things, and I want to sort of normalize that rather than kind of make it taboo or seemingly a demerit or a negative thing. It's just something that we have to work around. Some people are short, some people are tall, some people gotta eat better, some people gotta exercise, some people have to be mindful of their mental health, and try to exercise it safe, healthily. However, with the system that pushes us down, it's very difficult, and it kind of pressurizes us. We repress a lot of angst. And so Mario, he was a kind dude. Like, you can see, he was a aspiring film producer. He wanted to make documentaries. He made one when he was very
Mm.
young about growing up in Hunters Point, and he showcased his mom. He showcased his friends. He actually, interesting enough, him and his mom showcased um, the Exxon plants just outside of Hunters Point that have been attributing to the cancer rates in the Black community of Hunters Point, which claimed the life of Mario's mom, and it's still been problematic. I think it's recently circulating back into the news cycle. But Mario and his mom were covering that when nobody else was.
Mm.
If you hear him as a documentarian, he has a very soft tone about him. He and his brother is also, like, they're very withdrawn individuals. These aren't, like, aggressive brothers. These are mild brothers. Again, however, you pressurize somebody that's been subjected to the the cruelty of the system, and things can become volatile. So um
Mm.
it's something I've dealt with myself, and I'm dealing with myself. I'm trying to be proactive in um, following through with mental health help and assistance, because I have a family now, and I can black out at any moment, and that's often been a causation for a lot of us being murked out by the police. And the
Mm.
police are a huge trigger for us. It's such a trap when you have a brother that has such an affliction because of the police, but God forbid he is subject to a episode due to that affliction. You send the police at him, you send the triggers at him, metaphorically speaking and literally speaking. You send the triggers at him to provoke a response that could potentially get somebody hurt, but oftentimes ends up in the loss of life for us.
Oh, oh, Mateo. Mateo.
Well, no, just thank you again, brother, for being there at the vigil, and only just also standing up for the community. One of the things that we know, from the past is that relationship that the Bayview Huntersport community have. We know with the pigs. We know what happened with Kenny Harding. We know that you know these a lot of outsiders coming into this African American community. And also appreciate and salute, when you doing your cop watch, bringing our brother Aslan Native to Hera, who does a lot of cop watching. When our community members encounter these folks with guns,
Mm-hmm.
who sometimes are not even trained, or maybe they are being trained, and this is what the outcome of the training. But can you also speak what as a community we can do to also, I want to say too, it does matter when we're doing cop watching, because now these people know that they're being filmed and they know they
Mm-hmm.
can't be out of pocket. But what are the things that we as community members can also activate and do to save our folks from being killed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's our civic duty. I feel like it's almost common decency. If you were to walk by and see an old woman struggling on the ground to get up, she may have fell, and may not have the self strength to get up. I think it's almost common decency that you would help that woman up, or at least offer to help that woman up. Now, given the reality of people of color and poor houseless people are dynamic with the police, it is almost the same like theoretical circumstance where you see a person that's in need. It is common courtesy to initiate some sort of advocacy, and that could be as minimal as recording the police so that they are aware that there's community accountability to whatever degree that even matters. But so I know it's more about what we do when we cop watch, but I just really want to stress to people that we're not doing enough in that regard. It should just be normalized. You see the police messing with. Now, if you see the police pull over some sporty white man in a BMW, you can don't miss your appointment, don't miss your lunch. But you know what I'm saying? If you see them pulling over or accosting, like detaining, or even questioning or harassing anybody that looks like us particularly, then it is your civic duty to document, if not offer yourself as an advocate. It also, you know what else? I want to speak to your point is what as if what we can do, we can learn our rights much better. We can learn our First Amendment, our Fourth Amendment, and our Fifth Amendment, particularly, so that we can. Most of us don't. I had to do some independent research to understand these things, and I say this as a revolutionary that does not adhere to a constitution or an American government and laws and such. However, if we're navigating this battlefield, then we have to kind of utilize what principles are in play that we can use to our advantage to protect ourselves. Just like I'll say this, I don't like guns, but sometimes there's circumstances where you got to use the tools accessible to you to advance your campaign or defend your position. And so with that said, I really would like to encourage people to be advocates, document, but also learn your rights so that you can perhaps like enlighten somebody that may be incidentally kind of implicating themselves, unnecessarily. There's so many times when the police are asking stupid questions and we give them answers unnecessarily, and everything the police are trying to do is trying to entrap us, or they tell you in the Miranda, everything you say can be used against you.
Yeah.
It's not, your words aren't defensive. You could say a million things to absolve yourself from whatever you're being suspected of. They won't document any of that. I promise you. Look at any police report, and you could tell the cop, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. And then the one time, I mean, I drove by. That would be the only thing in that police report. So it's no point in talking to these pigs, period. And people need to understand this better, because we, like, people, our intuition is to try to maneuver out of a situation verbally, but that's not the case with the police. The less you say, the better. And you know, like, some people won't listen to that. You can try to tell people, but I at least try to project that much, like, hey, you're not detained, you could walk away. That too, if you're or ask the cop, is this person being detained? Are they detained, or are they free to go? Because unless you suspect them of a crime and they're lawfully detained, then I advise you, my friend, to walk away, because the cop does not have the authority to detain you, and this is a consensual conversation that is intended to lead to your prosecution. I hope that kind of answers.
Totally. I love that too, and I just want to say, as a fellow, what I call myself, a jailhouse lawyer outside of jail without a degree, but I call it the Constitution when I teach the young people. But we definitely need to know those tools. Heck yeah, right? That's the only thing we can navigate in this broken, stolen system. I wanted you to talk a little bit more about, because, okay, let me back up. We know that Brother Mario was in that moment when all that police terror was happening on the occupied streets of Yalamu, aka Frisco, with all those evil doers, the state agents with their guns and they hate. But the other thing that was brought up at that time is that he was having a mental health crisis, or that was talked about. And so when you mentioned the mental health piece and how, there's this stigma and all that kind of stuff, I just wanted you to talk a little bit more about that. And for listeners and viewers who don't know that history of what happened to Mario.
Yeah, absolutely. You want me to talk about it as it relates to Mario?
Yeah, if you could, that'd be.
Yeah, totally. So, like I said, like, police contact is more than enough to trigger a mental health situation from anybody that's, like, been formerly incarcerated or formerly abused by the police or the system. So that enough. He was allegedly a suspect of some BS. I want to be mindful. Some BS, right? However, we only know this account from an alleged snitch. I'm gonna be a blunt about it. We know this from some other dude that we don't know what his motivation or what his agenda or position was. But if people want to go off of the police official script, then they're going off the word of some rat POS that tried to talk to some white cops to indict a black man for some BS, and so there may have been an altercation. We cannot take the police word for granted. I don't trust police, and I don't trust rats. So anything that happened that the police and the rat have to say, I can, it doesn't mean anything to me. Right. Could there have been an incident? Sure. Nobody got hurt. There's no wounds. There's no evidence of an attack or a crime, but there was a 911 call apparently, or some rat stuff, where they said this little dude has a knife, and maybe he was having a bad day. They found him on 3rd and Fitzgerald by the bus stop here in HP, and they surrounded him. And I can, like, that personally would be a nightmare. That would be an immense nightmare for me, and I am so afraid of that, because I could see myself blacking out and assuming self-autonomy, and that's what Mario did in that moment. Mario had been through so much that he got surrounded by a bunch of soldiers with guns. And he said, you know what? If you're going to do it, do it. But I did not do anything wrong. I'm not submitting myself to surrender to uh, incarceration or detainment. I want to go home to my mom.
Mm,
That was his entire intention and agenda.
mm,
He did not hurt anybody at that time and place. He probably is maintaining his innocence in that matter, in that incident, in that regard, and he probably had all the right to go home. But the police technically suspected him of some sort of crime.
mm,
They surrounded the brother and he was defeated. They shot him. This was before body cameras, but even per the police recount and then the video footage that came from the Muni bus, they shot him with beanbags. Mario is 5'6" on a good day.
mm.
He's a small guy. I'm 6'3", and like I'm not the biggest guy, but the police treat me like I'm a monster when they encounter me, and I'm like a thin, slim dude, but I just happen to be taller than most of these pigs. Mario is a very short man. He allegedly had a pocket knife, like a 3-inch blade, maybe. Um, he did not have it lifted. He's surrounded by a bunch of trained soldiers with body armor, handguns, and everything. He's already been wounded by beanbag firearms, and now they got live ammunition trained on him. As he walked towards the end of the corner in an attempt to get home, it was and this is another pivotal point in the story, is that it's generally it's a bunch of cops, but it's 5 that are surrounding him, and right in front of him was a black police officer, and that would be the man that fired the first shot that set into sequence the other 4 firing in concession. I think it was 25 shots altogether into the body of a 5'6" 26-year-old man.
Mm,
And there was no provocation. They say that he lunged at the alleged point that he lunged. He's still about 12 feet away from the black cop that he allegedly lunged at. He allegedly had a blade that was about this big. He's limping already. He's slumped. He's a little dude, and they feared for their life to the degree that they filled that kid up with so many bullets,
mm.
knowing that his little body could not survive that. And it just gruesome. It's unapologetic.
Oh,
It's everything. It's everything that it's all the barbarism that we've heard about since chattel slavery,
yeah,
just
yeah,
in our current tense. You dig?
yeah.
Um,
And I just want to lift up his spirit, Ibai Baba, to you, Mario. I know you're on the other side with us tonight, and I just want to say that they can put all these horrible colonial weapons on us, but our spirit's not going anywhere. And so just calling you in. And I know that's why you all do the vigil as well. I know we're running out of time, but I know you're an amazing poet. I don't know if you want to drop a piece or just talk a little bit about the vigil before we sign out, but you let us know, bruh.
you know, um, I would want to do it justice. I'm I'm here at the vigil. I'm not in the greatest like composure state. I have to admit, it's been a long day, but
Oh,
Mario Woods, today is the 10-year anniversary of the afternoon, the evening that he was shot up, and his mom is here. Her heart is still pumping. I want to say that her mom, like if people know me, people know that I have no reservation when it comes to aggressively engaging with the police and projecting the necessary urgency for revolution and liberation and the abolition of the police and the accountability of each one of these pigs individual. There's not a single one of them that is absolved from accountability for what happened to Mario and what happens every single day to poor people and people of color. So do with Mario and Mario's mom, no one can talk me down. And I hope that people listening and people that hear us and people that are around us recognize the urgency. There's no, like, we cannot, if you love your people, I'll say it like this, because people think that I'm fueled by hate. You hate so much, you hate so much. I fight out of love. It just it happens to have to manifest itself into combat or aggression because I am operating from a deficit, trying to protect and avenge and liberate and justify our people. You dig?
Oh,
It's like
oh,
this isn't hate. This is because of how much I love Mario. I love his mama. I love our people. I love my children. I love your children. And I want them to be safe from police terror. And it's not going to happen unless we agitate the system, because our conformity and our assimilation is only going to be complicity for the perpetuation of the terror that we've been subject to.
oh, Shay. Bro, don't stop being
Yeah.
angry. And please, sending so much love to your spirit. I don't know. The idiocy of people critiquing any of us survivors from this state terror is just, that's on them. You walk
How
in
many
your truth.
times? How many times have you guys heard that's not the way to do it from
Yep.
people that are sitting on that?
Every day, bruh.
Man.
Every day. Oh, and then you're gonna love this one because we just did a action today, right? And
Mm,
someone, I won't name names because I'm not gonna talk ish, but our young people standing up for houseless relatives, right? Writing
mhm.
a beautiful resistance document, and other people saying, that's not strategic. They love that one too. So don't let them mess you up with that BS. You
No,
walk in your truth.
they got to decalcify the colonial programming that they think has been normalized, and they think that they can somehow navigate the white man system and somehow extract out of colonialism and white supremacy some sort of relief for our condition, when any validation of this white supremacy colonial governmental system is only going to enable the perpetuation of the terror that we face. We have to invalidate it all together. There's no like trying to wiggle and navigate. If people just want to like take the safe route and stuff, and they're
Yeah.
afraid of revolt
You already
everything,
know.
like,
We have to
yeah,
close out,
Yeah.
family. I just want to send so much love to
Yes.
you, to the vigil, to Mama, and also to welcome. If Mama feels like coming on, we can do another show next week. I really want to give space. I know that she's a warrior as well. That space
absolutely.
and those streets are
Hmm.
our streets,
Mm.
not the
Hmm.
colonizer
Yes.
streets, and we need to take
Hmm.
them back every day. So thank you for
Hmm.
that walk, relatives, and we're gonna keep up. And to Mario Woods, presente.
Presente.
Thank you, family. We'll
Presenting.
talk soon.
Thank you, brother.
Big up
All right.
F12. I love.
Ashe. All right. You're listening, watching Poor People's Radio. That's PNN, not CNN. Lifting up the warrior spirit of Mario Woods, of Jessica Nelson Williams, of Luis Dimitro Gongora Pat, of Stephen Taylor, of so many survivors or victims or ancestors of pro-life terror that are part of this system, that are baked in to the colonial terror. And that's why we resist every day. That's why we keep these airwaves open, we keep our hearts open, and we keep our liberation open and walking. And it's my pleasure in that vein to bring in another badass warrior who keeps us going with his música, with his palabra, with his flautas, with all of the warrior work that He does, and I don't know if is he not there? He's not there. Oh, okay. So I take it back.
We took too long.
He's back. So call him up.
I don't have his phone number.
Okay, hold on, relatives. We're almost gonna get Dr. Loco on the phone. So hold on, hold on, hold on. Because we are having a beautiful night here, but a lot is going on. So bear with us. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Also, I want to just remind folks that at this very moment, again, there is a violent politrickster named Ken Houston in this settler colonial government of Ochun holding, trying to hold this hearing for another criminalizing program. So at the same time that's happening, and I want to right now, they'll bring in our beautiful uncle, our powerful warrior brother, Jose Cuellar. Welcome back to Poor People's Radio.
Oh, thank you so much for the invitation. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes,
Very good.
Brabra. Yeah, I know that you've been a little bit under the weather.
Yes, small cell terminal lung cancer will get that. Will put you there.
Oh, that's some deep physical warrior work.
Yeah. It's kind of like
Right.
what did the meter say? The world is a little bit under the weather, and I'm not feeling too good myself.
Well,
That's about it.
I
Hey,
don't
no,
know.
I'm doing as well.
Yeah.
Under the circumstances, I'd like everyone to know I'm doing as well as possible.
I know you are.
I'm feeling good. My energy is coming back. I've done my chemo. I'm still
Oh.
doing immuno. And so we're heading, into stage 2. And we're hoping to make it to the summer and beyond.
Oh yeah, you're
'Cause
gonna
we
be.
had to make it beyond,
No, every day.
this part because they didn't know whether I was going to make it to the some super negative doctors were thinking, or who knows, they're wrong. They were wrong. They said they didn't think I was going to make it to the end of the year, May 1st.
No. Don't
Yeah,
listen
but
to the.
they were just reading the numbers and going,
Thank you. Don't listen
but
to their white
but the
science
power of prayer,
deadlines.
and I have to say, yours and others, the power of prayer, folks, it's really, really, really important. The healing energies that are sent, bundled in prayer, bundled in music, bundled in whatever, those prayers, that energy reaches the person. It reached me, and it has helped me immensely.
Oh, we love
So
you so
really
much.
so much.
We love you so much. I don't know how much energía you have, but we'd be honored if you wanted to play some of your beautiful flauta to the relatives on here.
Well, let me reach over here and grab one.
Okay.
See which one will I play for you.
And if you don't know the powerful music of Jose Cuellar, aka Dr. Loco,
Yeah.
look up his work because it'll keep you dancing and screaming and resisting. And as my mama said, walking with your ritmo always. So there you go.
He has a show coming up too.
That's right. He does. He has a benefit that people need to come to. It's on December 14th at Brava Theater. Need to support our powerful warrior here, and with a little bit of resources. Come on out. It's going to be a beautiful show.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, and I'm so glad we're having a chance to invite folks because as of today, the tickets are going well. They're selling well. They're selling fast. So if you'd like to join us in person, it's going to be extraordinary. It's going to be at least 26 musicians that are already committed to being there.
Wow.
Folks that have been part of the jalapeno bands, different generations. We count at least 5 generations of jalapenos. We're hitting 40 years old, and when we started as the original corrido boogie band. So it's a review of the legacy, the the styles, but also a celebration for me of the musicians themselves. These guys started and they were in their 20s. They were just, youngsters, young folks, young adults. And
I
how
love it.
they've grown now. They're in their 60s.
Wow.
Almost 40 years later, they've retired. They were getting ready to go graduate as with bachelors. Chris, Charlie, Chewy, David, and now they're retired, and they made careers of their own music styles, and they still, three of them still have, Chris, Charlie, and Chewy still have a group down in the South Bay called Rasquacha Liberation Front. Just a great group. They play weekends over there.
I love it.
So
I love it.
anyway, so for me, it's also a celebration of all of these musicians that have contributed to us, played with us, and have gone on to do their own things or play with others.
That's
Saul
right.
Sierra, who worked with me for, 15 or more years, is now with
Wow.
John Santos. The same thing, Marco Diaz, he's with John Santos.
Wow.
Charlie Girk played with us, who was with John
Wow.
Santos. Calloway has done, we've been colleagues in different ways, and I've had the pleasure and honor of having him play with us on several tributes, including the Jim Pepper tribute that you were also tiny a part of. So yeah, it's really it's a celebration,
Ashe.
and
And it's a celebration of life, and we got to keep it going. La vida loca.
it was going to be a memorial. So yeah, right.
Okay, we're coming out.
That's a big switch to
So,
I'll be there, folks, with all avoiding something really wild. Yeah. So let me do a little
okay, please play something. I want to also.
for y'all.
I want to tell listeners.
An expression of love on a Hermes love flute. It comes from the Hermes Pueblo.
For sure. Share something with us, fam.
Here it goes.
Oh, Mateo.
Oh,
Gracias. Thank you so much. I said thank y'all. An expression of gratitude for all of you that have been such terrific supporters all this time. From the corazón, just for y'all.
All right. All right. All right.
Thank you, Jefe.
We'll talk to you really soon.
Sal del mundo.
All right. And for listeners and viewers to know, also, Jose Cuellar, Dr. Loco, is in the Crushing Wheelchairs movie, playing that beautiful flauta. Yes. So if you have a ticket, I hope you come out on Saturday. If you don't have a ticket, I don't know what to tell you because it's sold out.
Show up.
But you could show up, and there is going to be a wait list, and they'll probably be able to get in. So plan on Sunday. Well, but you have a ticket, Jose. Don't worry about it. If you make it over there,
right on.
I hope to see you. All right.
I hope to be there.
All right, family. We love you we'll see you very soon.
Oh, thank you so much, and inviting everyone join us.
Thank you, Maestro.
Okay, December 14th. So all right. Bye-bye.
We'll be back on the air here at KPFA Sunday.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Later.
All right, later.
Oh.
You're listening and viewing Poor People's Radio. That's PNN, not CNN, folks. And I just want to lift up that, a lot of our folks are hurting right now. I also want to send out energy to to our badass brother Mark G from these airwaves. Um, that's Abolition Radio on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock. And that he should send out your prayers to him. He's going to be back. It's not even a question. We know he'll be back. He's getting better, but he has been sick. And our bodies are fragile, and they're wounded after all these struggles on these occupied streets. And so I think that's one of the other pieces that we have to recognize too, about taking care of ourselves. I mean, that's the thing. This is the only vessel we have. I want to lift up that our beautiful sister Leger, and I don't know if we're able to pick up her segment of this week, but she has a segment coming out, and it's specifically about self-care and about taking care of your body, specifically as poverty scholars. In the case of my mama, she hadn't worked out a day in her life, like literally, because a lot of poor people, were literally paralyzed, not only by our poverty, but of our constant work, just working to stay alive. And the concept of taking care of your body is not something that's really even crosses your mind, or you see that's for rich people, or that's for people who have time, or the privilege to take 1 hour out away from work. But this is the only vessel we have, relatives. So I just want to remind people, take care of your bodies to the extent that you can. And that's a job too. That's a job too. I want to talk a little bit about Sunday. And I wanted to ask Moot, what's happening on Sunday?
Again, thank you, folks, for joining us here at KEXU. And on Sunday, yes, Sunday, come and join us at the Howard Scene Book Fair Festival. The Poor Poets Project is gonna be there. Other poets.
There's going to be Tongo's going to join us. Of course, our beautiful brother Leroy Moore is coming up. He's part of the Po Poets and also Crip Hop Nation. Junebug, Loa Numitolo will be bringing in West Papua. There's so much inside of the Clanmark book, and folks don't know about it. It's a powerful book that we just put out this year. Clanmarks, monuments, and plaques. Untour book across occupied Turtle Island. And really what it's about is unwashing all these settler lies. And it all leads back to what we were talking about with Dogtown Dro as well. Do you want to pretend that genocide didn't happen on these streets? Well, if you do that, genocide just happens again. Right. And that's what we're dealing right now with the slow genocide of our houseless bodies, with our relatives in Palestine and in Sudan and the Congo and Haiti. You can't normalize genocide. And you can't normalize the lies that you've been told about people like Vallejo, the one who had a whole city named after him because he killed enough native people. These people that, like Christopher Columbus, that has a whole holiday named after them. Rapists and pedophiles. It's Junipero Serra. It has endless amounts of streets and missions, right, and churches named after them for basically being a rapist and a terrorist. So this book uncovers those, but it also honors what we call the resistance marks. What's a resistance mark? It's those places and spaces that people don't think of as acts of resistance. It's places and spaces like the little memorial of Luis Dimitro Gongarapat that the politicians of San Francisco and the DPW workers painted over their little altar, their street altar, and put a planter on top of it. The mural of Ronnie Goodman, who was, essentially a houseless, badass African descendant artist on the streets of Yalamu. And shout out to Western Regional Advocacy Project and RAP and all the warriors who homelessness kills. Homelessness kills. But what there is now is this beautiful mural. And it seems like they keep trying to paint it over. It's right there at 16th and Cap. We see that as a resistance mark. So it's spaces and places like that. And it's lifting up the places that people don't see. The places that are not named after colonizers and terrorists. Right. The places that we're lifting up our ancestors. So come out on Sunday, December 7th at 12:30 p.m. to the City College of San Francisco, the Mission Campus. Join us. It's going to be a beautiful, prayerful, and powerful session. And be part of the whole festival. It's going to be beautiful. There's a lot of really powerful work there.
Right, and then again, some of those folks who are in literature know Howard Zinn, who wrote the true history of the peoples of. Obviously, I'm not one of the literature folks, but he wrote this powerful book, right? That tells the true history of America and the genocide that they committed, and Native people and indigenous people and African people, and then also talks about a lot about the workers, struggle, so there'll be a lot of again, and there's books, and I know Howard Zinn will be proud of the clan marks, because it goes along with those books that they're here to tell those stories.
That's right.
And those books that we're trying to ban in Arizona, all of those books are going to be found at the Howard Zinn Fest.
All of them.
So come in, and then all the powerful authors. Poor Magazine, Poor Press, and just come in and say what's up, man.
That's
and and you might get to meet me and me. Me Tiny, just kidding, man. Come on, support community,
That part. Also, just to lift up, for those of you who don't know about the legacy of West Papua, another space of indigenismo that was, basically has been terrorized by colonial violence and murder. But our beautiful sister Loa Numitolo, we just had the Raise the Flag Day on December 1st yesterday. She's going to be lifting up that story, which is also part of the Clan Mark book and also part of a resistance mark. Having said that, we have the blessing and power of having our last guest for tonight, a warrior who you all know because he's part of our extended family, works on liberate our elders, as well as an artivist and so many more things, but also a survivor of the plantation prison system. What?
Richard Tan?
Yeah. Sorry. It's one of those days. By the way, we're talking to Tibu over here on the ones and twos. Youth scholar Tibu, who's looking at his anime as well as engineering.
I make it work.
We have nothing but fun here at Poor People's Radio, okay, family? Thank you for having patience with our ghetto asses. Okay, having said that, there is a threat to your so-called free speech. Well, I personally don't feel like I'm free on this stolen land any day. I'm not really sure about the concept of free speech when the colonial terrorists are always there watching, sending you ads, turning your life into a consumer project. But we supposedly have this thing called the Constitution, right? It protects our ability to speak. It protects airwaves like these. So we have to fight for it. We have to fight for that crumb. And right now, our warrior brother, Minister King, who is always on the street speaking the truth, faced sort of essentially a threat to his ability to speak, and is launching a powerful court case to fight it. And so we're blessed to have, I think, one of the lawyers here, Richard Kang.
Tan.
Richard Tan, welcome to Poor People's Radio. You already know.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on your show. And thank you so much for making a space so that we can talk about Mr. King and his
For
case.
sure. Well, first of all, can you tell listeners and viewers the actual basis of the case so that people know what we're dealing with?
Sure. The case is a First Amendment case, and it's about demonstrating in free speech. But I think the easiest way to talk about the case is to talk about what actually happened, what happened to Minister King, and what he was trying to speak about and protest about, and how he got retaliated against. So I'll tell that story if that's okay.
Please.
Okay. So back in 2021, in July, King, along with people from All of Us or None, which is an activist group consisting mostly of prisoners, were demonstrating at the California Medical Facility over in Solano County. And they were demonstrating for the freedom of Ruchell McGee. Should I explain what Ruchell is, or do most people already know?
Just give us a short description of who Ruchell was for those who don't know.
Sure. Ruchell was the only survivor of the police-initiated shooting at the Marin County Courthouse. I don't remember which year in the 70s it was, but it was the event where Jonathan Jackson was trying to free his brother and then went into the courthouse, and Ruchell ended up joining Jonathan, and they took a judge, if I remember rightly, and a prosecutor out into a van that they were going to use to escape from the courthouse. And at that point, the police opened fire on the van, and I don't know how many shots they fired into that van, and they killed everybody. And ever since that day, they have blamed Jonathan for the deaths of the judge and the prosecutor, that actually it was the police that were responsible for. And Ruchell was the only survivor of that shooting, and had been in prison ever since that day, until he was released recently, through compassionate release. And shortly after being released, he passed away. And myself, along with some of my comrades from the Labor Action Committee to Free Mumia, organized a memorial for him a few years ago over at the Omni. It was a nice event, and some of his comrades participated and spoke. But at the time, King was demonstrating for Ruchell's freedom, who was an elder to many of us in the movement. And as he was standing outside the outer gates of the facility, a group of COs, correctional officers in the investigative services unit, came out and started interrogating him and the people he was with, and photographing and videoing them. And King retreated, and they followed him, across the street and into a suburban neighborhood, and continued to surveil him. And eventually they ID'd him and then conducted social media surveillance of him. And one of the things that Minister King had done was, along with All of Us or None, he had called a demonstration for the 50th anniversary of the assassination of George Jackson. And that was a demonstration that was scheduled to be at San Quentin, I think on the 50th anniversary, which I think was the 21st of August. So a few weeks after the protest, after the surveillance was done on King, he was outside of his office at California Prison Focus over in West Oakland, and an unmarked van pulled up, and some officers from the Department of Corrections Fugitive Apprehension Team. Those are the people that we know about. They're the group who, arrest people for supposed parole violations. Jumped out from the van. They kidnapped King, and they took him over to the Solano County Jail. And over there, he was charged with violating the statute that we are challenging in the civil rights lawsuit. And eventually, King was actually released from, the charges against him were dismissed. They were felony charges without the district attorney ever proceeding to a preliminary hearing. And, usually the reason for that is when they realize that there's no substance behind the charges, that they won't be able to prove these charges at trial. So that's why King was released. But the law under which King was charged affects, everyone who has been a prisoner in the state of California, because
Wow.
the law says that if you ever had a felony conviction and you are on the grounds of a prison, on the grounds adjacent to a prison, and you don't have the permission of the warden, you are committing a felony, and you can be charged and sentenced to time in the state prison, for violating the statute. Now,
Wow.
the problem with this is that this law is violated all the time. I mean, if you have any felony record and you're, around a prison, standing on the sidewalk, you are technically violating Penal Code Section 4571. And I'm sure this happens every day, many, many times. And the people who are violating this law don't get charged with violating Penal Code 4571. So what happened in King's case that made it so that they needed to prosecute him for violating the statute all of a sudden? Well, yeah.
Wow.
So the police report for King's arrest, the investigative services unit named King and Lewis Powell and a number of other political prisoners as Black identity extremists. And, we've asked that the police report be filed under seal because we don't want to expose anybody who's named in the police report for retaliation. But we can say that the police report names probably, somewhere between 30 to 50 individuals and organizations, and they are people that we all know, organizations that we all know, and it labels all of them as being Black identity extremists, and there's another term, Black supremacist extremists. They say that they have ties to security threat groups, which, is obviously not true. And basically they tagged and set up all of these people for retaliation based essentially on the Department of Corrections classifying them as being terrorists.
Wow.
So that's what happened.
And so you, right now, because I know we're running out of time, but right now, we as a coalition, because I'm also full transparency, I'm part of that. We're resisting that with this move within that same settler colonial court system to challenge 4571. Is that what's happening?
That's right. Yes.
Okay.
We're using what happened as a basis to challenge 4571 for all prisoners. We're arguing that the statute violates the First Amendment and you can't use it in this way. The position of the Department of Corrections is, if you prosecute someone for standing on a public sidewalk with a picket sign, it's totally fine. It doesn't involve speech. It doesn't involve the First Amendment. That's their position. So.
I see. And can you tell listeners and viewers when, if they want to show up to support, when it should happen?
Sure. So we're going to be holding a press conference before the hearing. The hearing is this Thursday. The press conference will be starting at 12:30. And if just 1 second, I'll pull up the.
That's 12:30 Thursday, as in 2 days from now, December 4th.
And it'll be happening at the federal courthouse in Sacramento, which is at 501 I Street. So we're going to be gathering before the hearing and having a press conference. And then after that, the hearing will be taking place at 1:30. And if you want to attend the press conference online, we anticipate live streaming the conference. And just one sec, I'll pull it up.
And again, that's I Street, like Island, I Street. Go ahead.
Thank you, Tony. So the live stream will be on Legal Services for Prisoners with Children on their Instagram, and that's at LSPC Movement. And they also have an Instagram page, which is instagram.com/LSPC Movement, and it'll be live streamed there.
Beautiful. Right on. We urge listeners and viewers to come through, show up,
Yes.
at least go online. This doesn't just affect, please know this, it does not just impact folks who are incarcerated or even post-incarcerated. This affects everybody's
Right.
so-called free speech rights.
Right.
So it's extremely important at every turn to resist this. Thank you so much, Richard.
Thank you.
And for all that you do. We appreciate you so much. We'll
Thank
see
you so much
Thursday.
for having me on. See you
All
Thursday.
right. All right. You're listening and watching Poor People's Radio. That's PNN, not CNN, people. Thank you for staying with us. This has been a rocky night of a lot of powerful work and shouting out and lifting up to the spirit of Mario Woods.
Yes.
Ibai Baba.
Nikanka, yes.
Thank you for being with us tonight. And to the ongoing health of our beautiful brother and uncle, warrior, comrade, Jose Cuellar, Dr. Loco,
Yes.
Rockin' Jalapeno Band. We love
Yes.
you. I'll show up December 14th at the Brava Theater.
So that's all for this edition of Poor People's Radio. To get a complete podcast, you can go to Poor Magazine on SoundCloud or poormagazine.org or whatever you get your podcast from. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, Blue Sky at Poor Magazine or at Poverty Scholar or Poor News Network on YouTube. All power to the people.
Thank you, family. We love you.
Thank you.